inside the boardroom.
It probably is, Steinmetz. You know why? I respect anybody that was on the Warriors beat during those years.
And take a seat at the conference table.
Guru's great, too.
Welcome to The Executive Show.
Nothing easy!
On 95.7 The Game. Brought to you by Yellow Sack. Try a dumpster bag for easy waste removal. Less mess, reduce stress. Budget-friendly, clean freely. Call 833-3YELLOW or go to yellowsack.com.
All right, let's welcome in Bob Myers, President of Basketball Operations, General Manager of the Golden State Warriors. What's up, Bob? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Let me start here. The NBA just announced Game 2 is going to be Monday. So you got Saturday at 5:30 and Monday at probably 7. Just for kicks, like, when do you guys go up to Sacramento? Do you bus up as a team? The guys have the option of driving their own cars. Will you stay overnight Saturday and Sunday, or would you come back after the game? Like, logistically, how are those things kind of figured out?
This is definitely a Steinmetz question. Guru wouldn't ask something like that. Yeah, look, we just decided some of that stuff. It's just everybody's going to bus up on Friday and then stay. There was a conversation about if the game was Saturday, Wednesday, maybe coming back and practicing here. But everybody's going to stay up there and then ride back together. So it's no individual cars, and just everybody on the bus, and coaches, players, and treat it like you would anything else. So yeah, that's the deal.
Gotcha. Just like a 2 or 3 game road trip to the same city.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Bob, I got to give you some love, man. I'm not kissing your butt because we're family, but I told Steiny the day after the Wiggins presser, because all year long I kept asking you, hey, Bob, any news on Wiggins? And in my mind, Bob, I thought when he talked, he'd be at his locker or maybe after a game and he would be by himself. But when I saw you sitting next to him to take on, those questions, man, it screams support to me. And I came in and told Steiny the next day at random, that Bob's a damn good guy. Talk to us about that experience and where Wiggins is at now as you guys embark on Game 1 of the playoffs this Saturday.
Thank you. First of all, I think we don't do enough of that stuff. I don't know. Just people, right? We don't. Some part of life is just showing up, standing next to somebody when things are hard. And it's not like you can fix the problems. I can't change what he went through or what he's going through, but I can sit up there, and sometimes that's meaningful to people. You've probably gone to see somebody in a situation, and you just show up at their house, and you go, look, I can't. I'm just here. And when I watched 2016, Draymond suspended, people thought it was crazy that I went and watched the game with him because he was unable to be in the arena. Remember, he was suspended. Yeah. When you're suspended, you can't come in the building. So everybody thought, Draymond was just going to watch from the bench or the locker room. They don't allow you in the building if you're suspended. So we were across the street, and just watching our game on TV over at the A's game, and Marshawn Lynch was over there, and it was kind of surreal. But I thought, you know what? They don't need me at the games. I don't coach. I don't play. And Draymond, I think he appreciated me just sitting next to him and saying, I'll hang out with you here. And you talk about why can I talk to Draymond the way I do, or why do we have a relationship? It's because of those things, right? It's not like it's just because you earn it over time by showing up for people. So that's the thinking, but that's why I'm sure you guys do the same thing for somebody that was, needed your help. You do the same thing.
Bob Myers joining us on 95.7 The Game. He's president of basketball operations, general manager of the Golden State Warriors. Hey, did you happen to be listening to the segment before you came on? Because there's a stat that I'd love to run by you if you don't know what it is.
Oh, I heard you, the Looney.
Yeah, the Looney and Sabonis are 1-2 in terms of offensive rebounds converted into second chance points. And to me, it's interesting because I always felt like when you guys were at your best, during 5 years ago or whatever, you guys could turn a long offensive rebound into a 3 I felt like you did that once a quarter, and those are huge plays, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Iguodala used to be good at that.
Yeah.
Looney's really become our best player at that. Draymond, too. It takes, one, a guy that can good offensive rebounder, and two, a really smart player, because when you get an offensive rebound, most people, we were taught, just go back up. But, sometimes it's crowded in there. If it's not an obvious putback, you're getting it in traffic. Looney gets a lot of his, and he's tapping it to himself, and he's kind of positioning, so it's not like a tip dunk or a immediate putback. He can do that too, but a lot of his rebounds are kind of the position, the Rodman type rebounds, where you're just kind of outworking somebody. When you get those rebounds, you can't just go back up unless you're Shaquille O'Neal or kind of one of these Embiid types where you're just huge. So Looney recognizes that. He's smart, and then because he's played with guys like Steph and Klay so long, they know the second he gets that rebound, and he knows he's looking for him. And even Draymond knows, so he's even in the action. Even if he didn't get the rebound, he's setting one of those guys up. So it's a kind of a symphony type thing where they all know what exactly is going to happen when that situation occurs. And I think that's what it is for us. But I didn't know the Sabonis one, and they don't operate the same way, but maybe they do. If you looked at what Sabonis does and said, hey, they're doing the same thing. He's getting it. He's smart. He's spraying it out to their three-point shooters, because that's where you get these big numbers. I think the teams that are doing it, like ours and them, are getting threes out of those rebounds, I imagine.
Yeah, he gets more twos because he follows up more himself than Looney, right. But he's also kicking out for some threes here and there. But, yeah, Looney kicks out the threes more.
Yeah. Go. It's going to matter. I mean, the fun thing about playoffs is I'll watch a game just like you guys, and if you cover the NBA a long time or you're in it, you go, we'll see what happens in the fourth quarter, or, it's not that call that didn't go our way, or this guy got a call and he's got 3 fouls, Curry has to come out early. All those things magnify in the playoffs where something can swing a game, and you're talking about an offensive rebound, whether it's Sabonis or Looney, whoever wins that specific battle, that can swing a game. 6 points here, 3 points there. And so that's what makes the playoffs so great, is that you're watching it that closely. It's possession basketball. And I think that's why the fans like it. That's why people that love watching basketball watch it. Every single thing that happens matters, and that's what makes it exciting.
Bob, let me tell you this. A couple weeks ago, I was with St. Jean. We did an appearance, and all he was talking about is the possibility of the Warriors and Kings hooking up. And if you know Saint, you know why that meant so much to him. You're born in Danville, went to school in the Bay. Before you took this GM job with the Warriors, this was your home. So you know what it's like here, and with the Kings and their history. I know you have a job to do. When we're asking the players, do they feel differently? But can you talk about what's going through your mind that it's the Kings and you're going to take I-80 to get to the venue to battle with Sac Saturday?
I mean, it's a great story. It really is. I mean, I grew up when they were, remember those, actually they weren't great. It was really those years where they had the other Sabonis. They had the big, not that Sabonis, but they had Divac.
Yeah,
and they had Weber, and they had Christie, and they had Bibby, and they just were fun to watch. Bobby Jackson off the bench. I think John Barry was there. That was those early 2000 teams. That was some. Those were teams that were capable of winning a championship. Yes. I mean, they could have won a championship. So those were elite. Stojakovic. I mean, they were great. I don't think the Warriors, when I was coming up, I don't know that they went to the Western Conference Finals. So it was almost like the Kings had a moment in time with White Chocolate where they were national news. They were big time, and I wasn't against that growing up. I was like, that's great for Sacramento, and their crowd was considered one of the best. Remember, Phil Jackson had to wear the earplugs. Cowbells. I mean, what a crowd! So I'm excited to see their crowd. I heard the ticket prices are just insane. Which is great. Somebody mentioned, I was talking to Eric Hausen earlier, 15 minutes ago, who's been with our organization for 100 years, and he said, and Matt, maybe you were covering us, he said it reminds him of when the Warriors We Believe team made the playoffs after not being in it for so long, how rabid the fan base was.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a zoo up there.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, and as a fan of basketball and just energy, I love going into a place and seeing a fan base get rewarded for their patience, their loyalty. And so there's so many stories. I mean, it's going to be fun. They've earned it, though. They're the 3 seed. Mike Brown has been awesome. Their GM's done a good job building that team. I'm happy for Vivek. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's great. It's going to be exciting.
It really is. Bob Myers joining us on 95.7 The Game. It's the executive show. He's the president of basketball operations and general manager for the Warriors. We've talked a lot about Klay Thompson, and the one thing I was thinking, and I'm hoping you can elaborate or affirm, Klay Thompson was a great defender on the ball pre-injury. There's no doubt about it. Maybe the best two-way player at that in the league. How much is it? Okay, he doesn't do that anymore. Now, in fact, he's being asked to sometimes guard 3s and dare I even say 4s, which means he's playing defense off the ball more. Like, is that a fair statement? And then B, could we assume that he might actually be getting better at off the ball defense because it's something he didn't do a lot during his career?
Well, I think what's happened is what he was elite at, and a lot of it's, forget about the injuries, it's just youth versus being 25 as opposed to being 33 or
right.
It's just that. So but he did have the injury. So as you know, both we used to put him on the scat back type guards. I mean, on the guards of the other team. I mean, I think he was guarding Chris Paul in a lot of those series. Obviously, he guarded James Harden. He guarded the point guard, Kyrie Irving, which is one of the hardest covers in the league.
Right.
And so I think what's changed with him is, I don't think he's a worse defender, but now he might be better equipped to guard a bigger wing like a Kawhi Leonard or something like that. Better than he used to be able to guard, or better than he would have been able to guard one of those guys in the past. So his strength has given him more defensive versatility, but I think as anyone ages, lateral quickness dissipates for any player in the league. So now you put a Gary Payton or a Wiggins on that quicker guard, like we tried to do with John Moran and guys like that, where you put somebody that has the more lateral quickness, but then Klay's able to, like you said, move down and guard a big 3, a 4. A lot of the 4s now are smaller than they used to be. So you'll see Klay on some 4s. And hard to post him up. He's rebounding better now. So I think a lot of the off-the-ball stuff has gotten better, especially in the last month with his rebounding. We really need the rebounding, especially what Wiggins did last year. And so any rebounds Klay gets is a positive. But I would argue it's just he's transitioned from guarding maybe those smaller players to now being able to guard bigger players.
Yeah. Bob, Steiny goes, Goo, you're incredible. You've been begging for Wiggins to come back. He gets back. I got him on the brain, Bob, so bear with me. And now you're petrified of how he's going to be used. And I know you can only say so much, but I got to ask you, how is this decision the training staff telling you guys where Wiggins is at? Is this Wiggins telling you guys he's ready to go? Like, what's being discussed in regard to seeing how Warrior fans will be able to see, if he just picks up where he left off?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out. I don't think the good news is he's not coming back from an injury is a different thing. That he's not injured, which is good. And so he scrimmaged the other day, looked good. They're going to scrimmage today. All indications are he'll be ready to go, but how many minutes, I don't know. How he'll be used, that's up to Steve and the staff. But I'm just thrilled that he's back and that he's going to give us something. I don't know what Steve will decide as far as who starts, if he comes off the bench. I mean, remember when Curry did that? So if you can bring Curry off the bench, you can bring anybody off the bench. But I don't know if Steve will decide to start him or bring him off the bench. But he's just, the beauty of a guy like that is he helps you immediately just defensively, and then offensively we'll see what he's got as far as rhythm goes, but he knows what we do, and I can't sit here and say, because we don't know, Goo, whether it's going to be 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 25. I can't say that, but the good news is all indications are he's going to play, and then I think it'll build from there. And it's good that he's coming back at the start of the playoffs rather than any time later. So we're excited.
Bob Myers joining us on 95.7 The Game. All right, see, here comes another one. So I'm very interested. So forget Wiggins. Let's say it's just player X, and he goes away for 2 months. When he comes back, like, how much data do you have from him the 2 months previous? And then, like, does he have to get back? You know what I mean? Like, whenever Wiggins left, let's say he maxed out 200 on the bench press. Like, well, you want to find out if he's back to 200. What about, like, body fat, wind?
Yep.
Like, is it that sophisticated?
Well, you're showing your age. You're like me with the bench press. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a guy bench press in our facility. That's like stuff we were doing. No, I'm with you, by the way. That has no bearing. I don't even know if people do that anymore to play basketball. But we do a lot of sophisticated things, Matt, as far as there's a bunch of data on, sprinting, three-quarter sprint on the court. They hook you up to these cables around your waist where you're on a platform where you jump and you do max jump, and that's an informative thing because it'll show you as you go throughout the year how you're fatiguing or not. So they have all that information. And I think guys do that once a month or once every other week. And so you can see what he was doing pre being gone and then post. And so there's a ton of stuff. It's not so much, sure, Wiggins doesn't have much body fat anyway.
Right.
But if a guy left for 2 months and came back 30 pounds heavier, that'd be a problem. But that's not him. The thing with him is more about they have something called Catapult that players wear, and it can test your work rate, meaning what you used to do got your heart rate up to 120 in an hour, and now your heart rate's at 140 in 15 minutes. Oh boy, we got to work on your endurance. So there is more information than you can imagine that will tell our staff and Andrew if he's ready, and how long it would take him is much different than how long it would take us or any other player. These guys are they're professional athletes for a reason. I think what people see is, oh, that guy's tall, that guy's athletic. Their bodies are uniquely, they're gifted. They get back in shape quicker. They strengthen quicker. They heal quicker. It's fascinating to be around it. It makes me feel inadequate. Just around these world-class athletes. Basketball players are some of the best athletes in the world. Not to diminish what other professional athletes go through, but to be around these unique guys is fascinating, and they have so much information, Matt, as far as now when should a guy come back.
Bob, my wife always says, "Damn, you're so nosy." I'm like, no, I just got questions. So, Bob, I got to ask you this. You've had some good times with a lot of people on that Sacramento coaching staff and players, but mainly Mike Brown and Harrison Barnes. Like, you won chips. And, I'm just asking, have you talked to those guys leading up to this series?
I talked to Michael. Somebody's on the phone. I think Ron Adams was on the phone with him a month or so ago, and I grabbed Ron's phone and just told Mike how happy I am for him. And I got to know Mike pretty well, and especially when he took over for Steve when he was the head coach. And the biggest compliment I gave Mike was, and he coached obviously in the playoffs, and that's the most scrutiny, and he did very well. And when Steve was out, we met, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Just be yourself. Don't be any different." And I kept waiting for Mike to kind of start acting a little different. The head coach, he was the same guy. And the thing you realize with Mike is Mike coached LeBron James. Mike coached Kobe Bryant. Mike's been in high-pressure situations. He's coached our team in NBA Finals games. He coached the Cleveland NBA Finals. So Mike, you can't be happier for a guy. He does a good job of keeping this whole thing in perspective. He's a very affable guy, works really hard, loves to coach. He's a coach's coach. I'm so happy for him to be where he is, to have done what he's done with that team. It's great. He's a good man. He's been through it. This is a third time doing the coaching stuff. I'm so happy somebody gave him an opportunity. So thrilled for him, and he knows us well. So I'm fascinated to see the coaching battle in this one because Mike knows our team. He knows the strengths and weaknesses, and I can't wait to see what he does with that. I think it's the coaching back and forth is going to be a great storyline in this whole thing.
Bob Myers joining us on 95.7 The Game. Bob, I got to ask you about your contract. Everybody's wondering. I know the regular season's over, and I'm just asking you, your contract with 95.7 The Game, does it end at the end of the regular season, or do we go as far as the playoffs?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think we could keep going. Can we keep going?
All right. I
think we keep going.
If I need your contract with us, because if it says we're done at the regular season, I'm going to say goodbye. If we're going through the playoffs, I'm not going to jinx it. That's all I'm saying.
Let's just keep doing it.
All right. Hey, Bob, good idea. Good idea.
Yeah. I don't even know what that money, it goes to our foundation. I don't even know what the contract says. I just know the money goes to our foundation. So we'll keep doing it. It's all for good. It's all for kids, so it's fine.
Bob, what am I going to do with your boy? When you hooked me up with your seats, the whole world knows where I was going and where I was going to be. Bob, I'm in the lab, in the living room, watching the game, lights out, and I said, I know that yellow shirt, that yellow sweater. I rewinded, and it's my guy Steiny, but I was hurt, Bob. He didn't even tell me he was going, man. What's up with my guy, Bob?
Steiny's got these. He's old school. He's got these unwritten rules. I kind of like Steiny's approach.
I bet you
don't you like it when somebody? Don't you like it when they don't tell you what they're doing? You turn on the TV, you go, wait a sec, this guy's sitting on the floor. Don't you like that a little bit?
I may have to incorporate some of that in my game, Bob.
Yeah, Goo, please take notice of some of that
there you
stuff.
go. Hey, Bob, thanks a lot, man. Good luck in this series, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks, man.
All right, guys. Take care. See you.
All right. That is
I know what Bob
the Executive Show was brought to you by Yellow Sack. Try a dumpster bag for easy waste removal, less mess, reduce stress, budget-friendly, clean freely. Call 833-3YELLOW or go to yellowsack.com. Go get a bag, as they say. A yellow bag.
You getting love for asking about the contract.